You may or may not know this, but when you're doing energy arts like Tai Chi, Qigong, breathwork, any type of art, it's so important for you to tap into your emotions, for you to really feel while you're practicing what you're doing, but also to feel beautiful, to feel joy, to feel expansive, and sometimes to feel really strong and epic. And so we love playing music in our classes. And for years, we've done the best we can to create our own music or find music that we like. But so often you find music that might be best played in a spa. Yeah. While you're getting a massage, or
it seems like meditation music and Qigong music, things like moving meditations, people have stuck, it's just like some tinky tink tink chime and maybe a bird tweeting, but nothing that just...
a little water flow.
Yeah, opens your heart or lets you experience the power of the essence of the life force within you.
Let's talk about that word, power, because we came upon some music. So we started looking far and wide for better music, quality music, like a composer who really knew what they were doing. Like, think of an epic Hollywood movie soundtrack where you're in the mountains and you're training with the Shaolin masters, or you're having this epic healing journey and just floating, you're doing cloud arms. And we always wanted to find music like that. So we started looking, and we were so blessed to come upon this incredible composer. And you're about to meet this guy. But before you do, I just want you to know, I started listening to some of his music. He had some sample tracks available. And I started flowing and doing some Qigong, and I started to cry. It is almost like it took me back, I'm going to say, to another life where I had recall of what it feels like to be so empowered in your body, to feel the life force flowing through. It was buzzing through my body so strong. I was like, what is this magic? And we had to reach out to this
And
person.
other tracks, when we were listening, for me, allowed me to feel the gentle whisper of an angel and the softness and that desire and that struggle that I've had with being kind to myself and being nice to myself. And it's like this music was so kind to me as I was listening to it.
It just absolutely opens you up. So without any further...
Well, and how did you guys meet?
Well, we met through a virtual, in-person session, kind of like what we're about to bring to the experience right now. We got to spend some time, and you could see there was an alignment, and there was just such a sweet soul looking back. And so there's been this incredible alignment, and we are so blessed that we get to play this music for our community. Many of you have heard this, you felt this, you know what we're talking about.
Let us know in the chat if this music that we've been adding to our classroom experience has changed your experience.
It's definitely changed ours, and moving forward, this is a important sound of Satori. And so we want to say thank you, first of all, as we bring this beautiful soul to the screen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Craig Young. Hello, my dear friend. Can you hear us? Yes.
It's really an honor to be here as your first guest.
Thank you.
I was so touched by that introduction. So I appreciate that. If I had a mic, I'd drop it and do it.
I have a feeling you have more than one mic.
Instead, you'll write a song about it.
So everybody, this is Craig Young. Please say hi in the chat if you're watching the replay on any of the social platforms.
Hi,
you
Craig,
can.
hi.
I think our community already feels like they know you through your music, and now they get to see you in person. And where are you sitting right now?
I'm sitting in my studio, and first off, it's really nice to get a chance to meet this community as well. You guys talk so highly about the community, and I know how much you care for this community and how much you serve them through what you're offering. It's nice to be a part of the community in this way.
Thank you.
I'm in my studio right now, and it's just, I'm blessed to be in this space. I have my piano behind me to my right, which interestingly is tuned to 432 hertz. My piano tuner said I'm the second person in the history of his tuning to have ever requested that. And to my left, I've got my virtual studio just hidden behind the monitor where I have access to all of the fancy sounds. So
Well, there is. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, can you explain to those of us who haven't studied Hertz, what does that mean that you had your piano tuned to something different than another piano player, and why?
Yeah, well, standard tuning is an A on a piano or an instrument resonates at 440 hertz. And if you go back, there's all kinds of information on this, and even conspiracy theories around why the standard of musical tuning was changed at one point from 432 hertz to up to 440. That could be an entire conversation, but if you want to deep dive, just Google it, and it may surprise you. But 432 hertz, even mathematically, is more resonant with the human energy field. And I read about this way back when, and I started fiddling with the virtual sounds changing from 440 to 432, and it just feels more natural to play with. So I did it digitally, which is easy, and then I ended up tuning the piano as well. But there's a feeling there. It's just, it's a feeling of comfort. When I'm sitting playing that piano, that's a meditation for me. I just get lost playing. And part of it is the melodies and just the playing, but I truly feel like part of it is the frequency. So that's a big part of my world right now, is just trying to study and get a full handle on how all of these different frequencies impact people and the listening experience. And it's not just 432, there's a whole gamut of solfeggio frequencies. But it's another rabbit hole, but it's fascinating.
I love how much you geek out, and I say that respectfully, geek out on this stuff. I think you told me earlier you started tinkering with sounds and tracks at the age of 9, is that right?
Yeah, I took piano lessons as a child, and around the age of 9 or 10 I started, and my most vivid memory of that is the piano teacher whacking me on the fingers with a pencil when I wasn't going in the right direction. So that pushed me away from sort of classical study, and I did my own thing, which is creating and playing by feel and improvising and composing. So I guess I should thank her for whacking me on the fingers.
It's incredible when someone's so dedicated to something. It's almost like the passion owns you and you can't get away from it. And I know that you have a business in the world of tennis. You have your own tennis club, and that's been something that you've grown and built over the years. And music, I don't know if you would have called it a hobby, but it's always something you've been doing, and it's only now that you're really bringing it out into the world. Am I right in that?
Yeah, I mean, a big philosophy for me is just follow the fun, do what you love to do, and you'll be good at it, and then that's going to end up being something of value. So at university time, my choices were either phys ed or music, and I took the phys ed route. I was a tennis player. I followed that from teaching to managing to owning and developing a tennis business. But all the while, I would be sneaking off at night to my piano and my synthesizers and just playing. And that was for me. That was my escape from the world. And it was never planned as a career, a business, something for a mass audience until I started leaking it out a little bit. And then it kind of caught fire when it got into the world of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I know you guys know, I bet a large part of your listening audience is familiar with his work, but his world grew so quickly and it kind of pulled mine along with it, and that got me exposure, and then I realized, hey, this is not just for me anymore. And what really gives me what I'm really passionate about now is sharing it with people that, like you guys, resonate with it. And I'm finding that I can touch people in so many ways, and it's blowing me away.
I'm going to read a couple of things into the chat for you to see here, Craig. This is from Elise.
So we have people tuning in from YouTube, Facebook groups, and we have all of the chat comments in one stream.
So Elise had just said, Craig, your music moves me so deeply. I've cried many joyful tears while listening to your gorgeous songs. I'm grateful for you and your musical heart opening. And here's another one. This is from Radhika. Let me pull this one into the chat here. Here we go. And Radhika says, this music has completely transformed my experience, helping me to align deeper with my core identity during my meditation practice so that I can... she's very happy to meet you. That's from Radhika. So there's many in the chat here.
I'm very appreciative of the comments and happy to meet you guys too. And as I said, that's what really touches me right now and drives me forward. Is hearing comments like that, and it surprises me sometimes how deeply people resonate with music. Because as I said, for me it was music and sports. And when I try and share some of this music with my sports friends, over the years I would get a very uninterested reaction. And I guess that's why I, in some ways, kept this as a 25-year secret. And now we're coming out of the musical closet, which is...
Well, there's something so joyful about you love something so much and then connecting with other people that love it too. You know, that's the way we feel when we're like certifying our Qigong people and they're like, I'm going to share it too. Like, we couldn't be happier. But you even see it like when a grandmother makes cookies and the grandkids are like, these are delicious. Like, the grandma is so happy that what she has created has been enjoyed. You know, whatever it is that any of you do and love, cast those pearls in front of others that love it too.
Those who are going to appreciate it. Well, I know people...
I'm fascinated generally with the creative process, I guess, whether it's anything from cookies to composition.
That should be a blog article.
From cookies to composition. Craig, people...
What ties in, I think, beautifully here is energy and movement and how that fuels creativity.
Yeah.
I'm an athlete as well. And I have my personal practices that really fuel creativity. So I think people following along with your work, if they are creatives, it just helps with that flow. So it goes hand in hand, the energy, the movement, the creativity. It's beautiful.
We just made an adjustment. Hopefully is helping those of our listeners who were getting an echo. Hopefully that's helping. I know folks are really excited to hear your music, Craig. And so I want to start by playing this first track, and you could set it up for us. I'm going to play Rise of the Dragon. Now, this is one of the ones that really grabs you, and it's powerful. I will go as far as to say it's epic. Can you tell us about the track, and then I'll play it for folks?
Sure. This is a cinematic piece. If I categorize my music in 3 quick buckets, there's piano and peaceful. There's cinematic and epic, and then there's a sort of hypnotic and meditative. This falls into the cinematic category, and it's a song that I think really caught fire when, again, in the Dr. Joe Dispenza world, it started being used for breath work. So my most exciting memory of this song is being in a room with him on stage and 1,500 people in the audience, and just huge speakers everywhere, incredible volume, and 1,500 people doing breath work to this song. And I opened my eyes and turned around, and people were at points crying and screaming and just being completely taken over by the experience. It was surreal. So anyway, this is one of my favorites.
We're going to just play a little, and in a moment, we're going to freestyle.
Uh-oh.
Meaning?
I'll freestyle. You guys can join. Here it comes.
even right now, inhale. Catch your breath.
There's so many things going on in this track. You want to tell us a little bit? I mean, those drums are so powerful.
Yeah, the drums are sort of taiko drums, where if you imagine a row of drummers just smashing on the drums.
Those are those big drums.
The big drums. Yeah.
You have to almost be like a warrior just to play those things.
Was his name Kataro, like 30 years ago? That used to. Yeah.
So the way I get access to that sound is these drums are sampled in a recording studio, and instead of me having to smash with big mallets, I just touch with my fingers, play them in.
That's so cool.
But that is how all of my sounds. That's not me singing in that piece, just to be clear. All of these are sampled sounds, so they're recorded professionally by high-end musicians, high-end singers, and then I've got the privilege of storing all of that in my computer and playing it through a keyboard and orchestrating all of that. So within that piece, there's the drums at the bottom, there's a very low bass that just keeps the bottom end, and then it builds up as an orchestra with strings, violas, cello, viola, violin, and then the singing on top. So
layered, and the voice is enchanting.
Yeah. One day I would love to meet that singer, because again, I've just got her voice captured virtually in all of these samples, and I play it back and I can manipulate it to a point, but the real voice in a piece just brings it to life.
You guys can you appreciate the mastery that has to go into taking these sounds and manipulating and marrying them and building a story and building an emotion? Because that takes a lot of time and a lot of craft, and you're producing an experience
sensitivity
that we can have by putting the time into making this. So we're so grateful you've done that.
Again, not to bring it back to cookies, but when we eat the delicious cookie and we're like, yum, we have to remember, oh my gosh, flour, butter, milk, chocolate chips, nuts, stirring, plopping in the pan. What's the temperature? How long did it cook? And then we get this finished product that seems like one thing. We don't see all the layers that you see.
I'm enjoying the cookie analogy. I really am. But yeah, in that piece, there's probably 20 different layers of sound.
Wow.
From the percussion and it's not all at the same time. There's an interplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not in a band right now because I'm my own orchestra, and I have full control over the orchestration, the instruments, the mix. It's taken years to sort of refine, but I've got full control over the entire piece of music in that way, and it's such a process. It's such a fun process, and it's a process that, again, sort of going back to flow. Some days I know I'm not there, and other days it just everything works, and you wonder what's guiding you.
Yeah. I would have to say something is using you to produce at this level.
Yeah.
That's my experience. Let's play one more. So we're going to move from epic into another lane, and then we'll try some freestyle. So how about we go with Song to Heal the World? Does that sound right? Okay.
Is this peaceful piano?
Yeah, what are we about to?
This is a mix of peaceful piano, and then sometimes it's hard not to put more into the cookie mix. So I threw in some sugar and a few other things. But
all right, listen.
The piano is at the heart of this piece.
Listen to this track. I feel bad even calling it a track. Listen to this masterpiece. It's so beautiful. Here we go. Angelic.
Elise, you're going to like this one.
This brings you there. One of my favorite to do after movement, lay in it.
This is one of the ones that to me reminds me of the kindness that is available to us.
So kind.
Tender.
Close your eyes, guys. Listen. This makes me cry.
I'm rehearing a lot of this music through your eyes and through your reaction to it, and it means a lot. This particular piece was sort of just as COVID was building up, or maybe just beyond that point where everything seemed like such a mess, and you think, what can you do? So what I can do is write a song. But then I sent out emails to some different friends, and just I asked them for some quotes related to positivity, related to healing, and then we compiled a YouTube video with that song and some just really nice imagery and quotes from some special people. Didn't know you guys at the time, otherwise I would have solicited a quote from you, but
well, we would love to watch that, and I'm sure the community would love to watch that. I love what you said, Craig, that you're listening almost through a different ear because of who else is listening. And when we have that happen, we'll share something and our students will say things about it, and then we go and listen through the eyes and ears and hearts of them and completely experience it in a different way. Yeah,
there's a renewed appreciation for sure. And it's so meaningful.
Miss Bonnie Carney says, I have a sense memory for these musical pieces now because of the times I've done energy practice to them.
Yeah.
It brings me back to the way I feel when I'm in class.
Yeah. That is so valuable. I was actually going to say the same thing. When you have a piece of music that you use when you meditate, it can trigger that vibrational frequency.
Right.
Yeah.
It's easier to get to it.
Right.
Quickly.
Mm-hmm. And I'm the same. I've got a few pieces of my own music that just trigger that memory and trigger that state, and not just my own music, but certain other pieces of music that I've meditated to. But yeah, anything that elicits an emotion, it just registers, and it can be triggered back so easily just by playing the music. So
yeah,
I have another musical friend that I helped produce an album for, and she's a singer, she's a sound healer, and her voice is it's absolutely incredible. But we go back and forth, sometimes complimenting each other, and but the power that we have in our hands or in her voice just to influence people and to create a state is something I'm beginning to appreciate more and more. But again, that reflected through you is reminding me of just the power of music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Music is, to me, every song has an energy to it. It's very hard for me if I was frustrated, burnt out, irritated, and then to have that song playing. And if I actually listened to it, I would not be able to not shift state.
Right. Yeah. And it's a simple way of shifting your state. And I try and encourage people to do that, to listen actively, to rather than having music on in the background that's got a sort of thump, 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 thump. That's what's on the radio these days, and sometimes I appreciate it and it gets the kids going. But if you truly want to benefit from music, you sit down, you put the headphones on, you set an intention, and you create a state. And the albums that I have, I do that for myself, and I sometimes I go back to that default state of this music is for me, and I haven't really put it out that much. But again, it's really encouraging to put it out more and to share it more when I see the reactions and these comments and the stories. So
There's a
amazing.
bright future of music ahead, my friend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Movement with music. We're going to talk about the marriage of movement
Mhm.
with your music, and we're going to do some movements together in a moment, because that's a whole other thing when you start opening up the energy system and you really feel
Mhm.
the body or clearing some of the old trapped energies in the body, and the music
Mhm.
is helping to push that through and elevating the emotion. You start to experience some very heightened feelings. Especially, I put my hands here, I feel the heart opens up, and then that energy rises up, and even your thoughts start to upgrade. You were about.
Mhm.
I said, growing up as a ballet dancer, I was exposed to a lot of classical music, and I always
Mhm.
felt like, you know how what do you call the lines that the notes are on?
The staff?
Staff. Like
Yeah.
it's a journey, it's a road, it's a path, and I just feel like
Mhm.
I'm writing those lines as the notes come at me. As the notes come
Mhm.
at me, it's a journey, and I'm
Yeah.
writing inside of the
Oh,
music. So
wow.
as an instrument comes in, it's almost like I'm on this train or this cart, and it's like, oh, there it comes, there, and you just it's such a movement that I'm moving through the music.
Mm.
I'm not
Yeah.
listening.
Amazing.
I'm in that. I'm one of the
The
notes.
music's inside of me.
Yeah.
So you want to
Nancy
move?
says this music goes right into my tissues, and it feels so beautiful. Epic to move to your music, Craig. Thank you for sharing this music with us. Yes, let's do that. Let's feel the music. So, you know how Craig's got his piano behind him? That's an instrument. Well, we all are instruments, and this music and these sounds can play
Mm-hmm.
through us.
Yes.
So as you open your, like what you're saying, as you open yourself up, you will feel the music inside of you, and it will unblock you, and it will open up your energy centers, and it will raise your consciousness. That's what this
Yeah.
music can
The
do.
music is a vibration that our ears
Mhm.
are interpreting. It's just vibration.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump up back there, and I'm just going to literally freestyle to Craig's music the way I did the
Maybe
first time
do
I heard it.
some of that.
I'm not going to dance. No. I'm just going to freestyle. And everybody who wants to get up and move with us, and then we're
Yeah.
going to bring Craig back in just a moment.
Get up
So
and boogie.
you can get up and flow with us. And we're going to play one of my favorite tracks. I'm not going to talk back there. This is called Into the Beyond. Into the Beyond. And then Craig will tell us a little bit about what's inside of this track, and maybe he can explain why I love it so much for movement. Here we go. We're going to freestyle. Going to make moves up. Thank you for making this music, Craig.
That was truly fascinating to watch. It really was, and as you were flowing to that, I was thinking, what makes this piece? What makes you resonate with it so strongly? I think part of it is flow. There's emotion in the strings, but there's a very steady beat that it doesn't take over, but it's there just to keep the flow. And there's a certain, I mean, there's so many recommendations in terms of creating music, in terms of the structure, verse, chorus, changes here, and I ignore that completely because not completely, but what I find sometimes is if there's too much change, it's disruptive. So if you're doing something like this, if you're doing something like a meditation, you don't want to be all over the place. There's a flow here, and there's a constant sort of rhythm or theme that keeps going, and elements build upon it, and the changes are subtle. I'm also wondering if it's the particular tempo that just matches the rhythm of
Yes.
your movements.
The tempo helps a lot. It's easy to carry movement with that tempo.
Yeah. But I was starting to wonder who the ballet dancer was there. It just
there was a little bit of influence there.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful, beautiful piece, and it feels like it takes me back to a temple somewhere in Asia where this all began. You know, these arts were cultivated for thousands and thousands of years through monks and priests and warriors and shamans, and I can hear them playing these sounds, and I feel somehow something's happened, that you've encapsulated a lineage of music into this, in all of your music, but this one in particular really takes
music
you there.
has always been a form of worship and celebration, right?
Yeah.
Tribal, there's a flavor of tribal celebration, or I can hear little trinkles of what reminds me of gospel in some of the songs. I think it's always been one of the root ways that us as humans, you know, the way that we praise the Lord, or the way that we connect to something and say, you know, help me, or I love you, is to move our bodies and to make music.
Yeah. It's a really interesting conversation. It's making me want to go and create a piece of music.
Go for it.
Yeah. But you're right. There are rhythms there that are sort of tribal, and it just it connects you to your root somehow. But I'm fascinated with so many different sounds, and fascinated with blending different sounds that you wouldn't ordinarily put together. But I love sounds from the Orient. There's an ancient wind instrument called the duduk that I just have a hard time not putting it in every song, even if it's subtle in the background. But yeah, there's part of our past that I think is in some of these songs, or part of
Incredible.
Yeah, as you were saying, just our lineage.
It is. And you are here in the contemporary world using technology to produce things that uplift humanity. And then this is the beauty of technology, and this is the beauty of social media. Right now, we're using these technical tools and things to shift vibration, to serve others. It's an incredible happening on the planet right now that we can produce this way. It's really beautiful to meet somebody who's using technology in such a high vibe. Really beautiful. So, Craig, I know we're kind of running out of time here, but I do want to ask you about a story. Something I read on the website, but you shared with me. Maybe it was a certain time in your life that you were seeking some clarity around your music. And if I'm correct, you had a reading, which we've had. Is that correct? And something came through. Would you be open to sharing that with the audience?
Yeah, definitely. I've had an interesting path over the last 10, 15, even 20 years of just sort of self-exploration. You get to a point where conventional business only drives you to a certain point, and then I started doing a lot of reading. I started meditating. Life just started unfolding, and in so many interesting ways, and I was looking for answers. So I had a reading from somebody. A friend of mine said, "You've got to connect with this guy. He's out of the UK. He's an author, and he's just he sort of taps into your spirit guides and gets you information." And I'd never done anything like this before, and I didn't even know if I was truly open to it. But when he sort of tapped in and started speaking to me, all of a sudden just chills hit even before any information came through. And I kind of thought, what is this? I just went with the flow. But he tapped into various spirit guides and brought information through that felt very resonant. I thought, where is he getting this from? And then he said, "I've never had this happen before, but one very interesting guide came through, and it was John Lennon." And he said it was a privilege and an honor to connect with John Lennon, who is apparently a spiritual mentor of mine from the other side. And there was a very clear message at that point for me to stop messing around and take music more seriously. And I did. And sometimes if I get to a point where I think, where's this going, or the flow is slowing down, I go back to that message, and it's very empowering. So I did go as far as putting it on my website. It's buried in a little spot somewhere in the About Me, I think, but I captured about 2 minutes of that message because I had the recording. But I use it to remind me that there's more going on than what we see physically. And if you can tap in beyond your senses through meditation or other means, through energy, there's healing available, there's information available. And it was an incredible message to get.
I love this moment, Craig, because after we met, we started having some sessions around business growth, right? And you shared this with me, and wanting to, like you shared tonight, like get out of the music closet and like really push this out into the world. So we started looking at different ways that could happen. But I just realized you manifested this moment right now, where here you are doing the exact thing that you said that you wanted to do. And I think this is such a beautiful lesson for everyone listening to this. We have these beautiful dreams and talents and opportunities inside of us, and we just need to ask the question, how might I move into this?
Yep.
And just keep exploring that. And Craig has been such a beautiful, open heart to explore more. And he's finding all these new ways and connecting with these other communities, now connecting with the Satori Tribe, growing his practice, getting this music out into the world. And look, he's manifesting this moment right now with all of you. So this is a beautiful mirror for all of us to see what's possible. It's really cool.
Yeah. And I think a lot more is possible if you get over what other people think and get past the conditioning of having to impress others. Just do what you love and get it out there and don't care.
Soundbite drop.
Yeah. And then let the miracles and the magic bring people into your environment. Like, it isn't a coincidence that like we were thinking about this and you were thinking about that, and then boom, we're on a call together. And that's the way it happens when you stay open and you kind of just hold the faith that everything is exactly as it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just music that I've put out there and people receiving it and that going well. It's the people that you meet who resonate with it. They're on the same wavelength, and I've got a fascinating group of people who are out there really trying to make a difference with their message. I'm fortunate to be able to add music to some of these projects and really empower people's messages that way, and yeah, truly get out there and make a difference. There's some amazing people, and you guys are two of the amazing people, and I appreciate the time tonight and the opportunity to
Absolutely. Craig, we have lots of incredible plans ahead with you, as you know, with things that you and I are talking about with Sabrina. We have a really cool situation for everybody to be open to tonight. And that is, if you love this music, you're going to be hearing more of it through the Satori world because we love it, obviously. And Sabrina and I asked Craig if we could make this music available to our community. And so he was gracious to allow us to put these tracks together. They're albums, basically. And so there's a way that you can own Craig's music, and we're going to give you a link in a second. Sabrina said earlier, she said, so like each track is this certain amount of money. And I said, no, it's not just one track.
It's just the whole album.
It's a whole album.
I was like, what?
There's like, how many tracks are on an album typically for you, Craig?
There's two albums of 10 or 11 tracks.
Okay, so here's the link.
This is crazy pants, guys.
It's so incredible. You can own Craig's music for like, what is it? $10, $9.99, something like that.
And this is for your personal use,
yeah,
right?
for
This
your personal
isn't
use.
to publish online or make a product to. This is for you to enjoy.
Yes,
for
Craig has
yourself.
other opportunities that you can learn about for producing. But if you go to that link and you like the music that you heard tonight, and I'm going to put one more up before we say goodbye. What are you feeling here, Craig? You want to go with Call of Angels?
The holidays are coming, and if you needed like a really amazing thing to share with someone you love, this would be such a great, such an extremely affordable and amazing gift that the person would be so grateful for.
Okay, Craig, I'm bringing in Call of Angels. I love this.
Play my violin.
Ah, brother, it's so beautiful.
And that you can make all this music in that room that you're sitting in.
Yeah, that's what astounds me sometimes.
You guys meditate to this. Is this on Songs to Heal the World?
Songs for peace and healing.
Thank you. And that, what I said was a track, right? A song to heal the world?
Yeah.
Everybody's so excited to get these albums.
You guys should go and grab this. It's such an incredible opportunity. Listen to this.
And then when you get one, I would suggest like maybe say this song for me. And I would really obsess with one song over and over and see if how many layers can I hear? When do I notice that coming in and that fading out? And then really meditate to it so that you are installing in your brain when as soon as you play that song, your brain goes, oh yeah, she's going there, baby. You know?
Yeah. And to me, that alone is a form of meditation, just listening actively and taking the time to hear all the elements of the music. That takes you away from your normal stressful thinking, and you come out feeling peaceful.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful tip Craig gave us tonight, is to actively listen. Don't just go into a checkout passive state. Like really lean into this music.
Inhale it.
Breathe it, move it, feel it, become one with it. When I'm
Qigong it.
Qigong the crap out of it. Like I hear this music, my body just wants to move. Right? It wants to go into that place of connection. So you really are a gift to the world, Craig, and we're so grateful that we met you, and there's so much more to come. But thank you for blessing our community
and
with your
for
work.
this generous offer that we put together.
Incredible.
Thank you guys, and thanks for everybody for listening and taking the time.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you. You guys give him some love, give him some heart bombs here.
I can't wait for him to go and read all the comments later.
Yes, you've got to go and read these comments. It's awesome.
I'm excited.
All right, everybody. Well, again, thank you, Craig. Have a beautiful rest of your night. We super
Thank you, everyone.
Man.
And we will see you guys next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central for the Trisbrina Show.
We'll be back. Who knows? We might have Brad Smith. We don't know yet.
Yeah, who else might we have? This has been a game that we're playing.
Well, we're talking with Kalo and Lady Gagu.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, and Tom Cruiser. So we shall see. All right, everybody. On that note, we're going to say goodnight. It's date night. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. And until next time, so much love. Good night.